So let's go ahead and move on over to the Southwest Division here. We are going to talk about the Mavericks, who finished 50-32. They were the fifth seed. Their over and under is 50.5. They added Klay Thompson. They added Spencer Dinwiddie. They added Quentin Grimes. They lost Tim Hardaway Jr. They lost Derrick Jones Jr. They lost Josh Green. So what are you thinking, Osama? Over under on the 50.5 for the Mavericks here?
I still like the over. I think Luka is talented enough to get them to 50 wins on his own. I think that they play a pretty good pace. They had the 10th best offense in the league last year. Didn't really matter how they were defensively. My main concern, though, is that they lost a lot of key contributors that kind of boosted them to the finals last year. So we'll have to see where that's going to come from. There's a big if they're gambling on with Klay Thompson to find his shot later in the season. I'm expecting, to be honest with you, as a heartbroken Warriors fan, for him to play in his Warriors jersey all season. I just can't see him in his Mavericks jersey. I don't really care. I can't do it. I'm in complete denial about him being in another jersey. Yeah. I mean, Kyrie Irving, they'll need more than 60 games from him. I think he only played 58 games or something last year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's it. Where is the scoring coming from?
Exactly. I do think they'll finish maybe like 50 wins again this year. I do think they might look at maybe giving Luka some minutes restriction, giving him some time off as we get later into the season, just to keep him a little healthier for the playoffs, because he was winded by the time he got to the end of that run. So that he just didn't have enough left in the gas tank there at the end. All right, let's go to the New Orleans Pelicans. They finished 49-33, were the 8th seed. Over under is 46.5. They added Dejounte Murray, Daniel Tias. They lost Jonas Valanciunas. They lost Larry Nance, Cody Zeller, Dyson Daniels. They added Yves Messi, a center, with pick 22. What do you think, Osama? Over and under on 46.5 for.
Yeah, they added the greatest soccer player of all time, Messi. No, Dejounte Murray is the answer they've been looking for at point guard, which is it's great. It's McCollum and some of these other guys that they've started haven't really been it for them. So that's great, and he's a great defender. They were the 7th best defense in the league last year. That's such a great move. At Zion, it was really unfortunate he got hurt in the play-in. That was such a bummer. But he looks to be in the best shape that he's been in since joining the league. He looks great. With Herb Jones, DeJounte Murray, Jose Alvarado, I think this is going to be a great, stubborn defensive team. I like Jordan Hawkins, great shooting off the bench. They're going to be like a top 5 team pretty easily. This is going to be Brandon Ingram, solid scorer. It's going to be a good team again.
100% agree with you, Osama. I think they're definitely there they're going to be over. Maybe they'll be like a 50-win team, give or take, and then they'll be right up there in the 4, 5, 6 seed, somewhere around there for sure. All right, let's move on over to the Houston Rockets. Last year they finished 41-41. That would put them at the 11th seed. This year their over and under is 42.5. They didn't really do much. They added AJ Griffin. They drafted Reed Shepard with pick number 3 overall. So what do you think, Osama? Over under on the 42.5 for them?
I think it's under mainly just because they didn't really do anything to get better. And it was kind of surprising how well they played last year. They won, what was it, like 15 straight games or something crazy. They just went on this insane run. And mainly because of defense. They were the 9th ranked defense in the league last year. And I think it's Ime Udoka implemented just a really solid defensive discipline. And as you could see, he really gets the most out of his guys. So yeah, I think that, 42 wins sounds optimistic, given that it was just shocking how well they played. If they find it again, great. It'll be maybe just less surprising, not more surprising. I think that Cam Whitmore, I'd love to see him get more playing time. Tari Eason adds to their depth. He only played 22 games because he was hurt last year. So yeah, I mean, if they make like a trade, then maybe we'll see like a huge lift. But I think that they're kind of middling in that like 38 to 41 games.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think their peak is maybe like 43 games. Maybe the 10 seed there is kind of their ceiling there. Um, we'll see. It just depends on the growth we see from some of their young guys like Jalen Green, Jabari Smith, Sengun. So we'll see. They could do it, but like you said, they could also just kind of be right where they were last year and not really do much. So we'll see what happens.
Nah, Shengun. Shengun is the name you got to use when you want to sound like you watch a lot of League Pass.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I watch Sengun all the time. Right. That's what people say. All right. Let's move on over to the Memphis Grizzlies. They finished 27-55. They were the 13th seed. Their over under is 45 and a half. They didn't do a lot either. They re-signed Luke Kennard. They lost Zaire Williams, and then they drafted Zach Edey with the pick number 9, the center, who actually looked pretty good in the preseason. So, what are your thoughts here, Osama? 45 and a half. What's over under for the Grizz?
I'm contradicting myself a little bit for the same reason that you had Philly ranked pretty low. I'm low on them because of health. Like a couple years ago, they were on top of the league, but they've been so decimated by injuries. They were the worst offense last year. They were still a pretty good defense, but even with Ja playing generally, look, I think they have top 10 potential defensively. I think they could make like a huge rebound this year and be a good offensive team. They just didn't have any bodies playing last year. They had to sign Vince Williams to a contract just to have someone that could play basketball. So I mean, look, there's some uncertainty. They could be better than the play-in. But I just, it's one of those, I'll believe it when I see it. They haven't found that since that year because Jaw's on line with a gun or Jaw's having surgery or something else has happened in the Jaw. So yeah, I think that they just have to find that form they found a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I think they will find it this year. I do like John Morant coming back, strong year for him. Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bain, they have the pieces, so I do think they may find themselves perfectly healthy and maybe right there 46, 47 wins. Maybe there's some injury, but I do think they could be a 46, 47 win team. Maybe sneak in there over there at the 8 seed. All right, the last team here in the Western Conference that we're going to talk about is the San Antonio Spurs. They were 22-60, 14th seed. This year their over and under is 35 and a half. They added Harrison Barnes, they added Chris Paul, they lost Devontae Graham, then they drafted Stephon Castle at pick number 4. So what are your thoughts here? Are they going to be over 35 and a half wins? Seems like a big jump for them, Osama. What do you think?
I don't think so. Even with Wemby, who is, I would say, I don't know, is this impolite to say a diamond in a dumpster? I don't know. Like he's a shining star on a team of young guys who are fringe starters on this team. They would be bench reserve guys on a lot of other teams. They did get a lot from Devin Vassell last year. He played damn near 70 games. He's pretty good. But Sochan is not a point guard. He's not the guy at point guard. He's not a good ball handler. He's not a playmaker. It was just a really weird offense they ran with him running the point last year. So I'm excited to see Chris Paul change this team for the 35 games he's going to play because he's going to get hurt at some point. Yeah, I think that some of that with the vets will add to their development of their youth. But I think they should just hope to get another lottery pick at this point.
Exactly. I think 35 and a half is a little high for them. I think 30 wins is probably more feasible. Maybe move up a spot here, maybe 13, 14 seed, maybe make a step towards the play-ins. But really, like, obviously you have Wemby. He's going to be great. He's going to be fantastic. I think Stephon Castle is going to be a dude. So you got two guys there. And then you just build off that, get another third lottery pick, and maybe in a few years you're right in there in the playoff mix there for the Spurs. So that ends our Western Conference preview here. Osama, last thoughts here. Who do you got coming out of the West?
The Minnesota Timberwolves.
Oh, wow. I like it. I can see that. I'm going to go Oklahoma City Thunder. I think they had Doncic very close to beating Doncic last year. I know he kind of ran through them at some points, but I think the Oklahoma City Thunder, they're too deep, too talented. I think they'll make the finals this year. I'm looking forward to a Knicks Thunder final.
I'm here for the Ant-Man MVP season.
I like it. I can see it.